In problem 17-3A, we're asked to put together a full cost of production report. And so in this problem, we have White Diamond Flour Company manufactures flour by a series of 3 processes. So it begins with wheat grain being introduced to the milling department, and then from the milling department, the materials pass through to the sifting and then packaging department, and then at the end we have a full packaged white flour. And so then it gives us information. So we have work in process information for the sifting department, and then we have cost charged to the sifting department at the end of the month. So what we're going to do is on our cost of production report, it's broken out into 2 sections. So we have our units that we're going to calculate up top, and then we're going to assign cost based on those units down on the bottom half. So let's start by going through the whole units. And so units to be charged to production, we'll start with our beginning inventory. And so that's over here. So we've got 900 units. And then we have the amounts received from the milling department. And so for that, let's see. Oh, right here. So transfer to the milling department, 15,700. So we have a total of 16,600 units to account for. So for the inventory at the beginning of the process, we have 900. And then we know, let's see. So, okay, so during July, we had 15,500 units were completed. So that's what was transferred out. So that's going to be 15,500 right here. So that means started and completed, we're going to have our 15,500 minus our 900. So we started with 900, we started and completed 14,600, which means the total that was transferred out was 15,500. Then for inventory in process, so it says that on July 31st there was 1,100 units, which were 4/5 complete. So right now we're just dealing with whole units, so we're going to put that full 1,100 units right here. So add that up, and so perfect. Hey, that adds up 16,600, which was what we calculated up here. So we're in good shape. So then let's break that out between the direct materials and conversion cost. So this is the direct materials for the beginning inventory had already been added the prior month, so that's going to be 0. And started and completed, that's going to be 14,600, which gives us transfer to the packing department, 14,600. And so since direct materials are added at the beginning of the period, that means of what was 4/5 complete, all the direct materials had been already added. So we're going to add all of those in. All right, so for direct materials, we have 15,700 to assign cost to. So for the conversion cost, so the conversion cost in inventory of 900, it was already 3/5 completed. So that means we need to assign cost to 2/5 of that. Started and completed, we're going to take the full amount because they were actually done during the month. And so we have transferred to the packing department of $14,960. Now for the ending inventory in process, we had a total of 1,100, but they were only 4/5 complete, so that's going to be 880. So add those up. And so we need to assign cost to 15,840 units related to conversion. I can hear my dog barking at the door wanting in, so hopefully she won't get too loud. Alright, so for the cost section, let me just like my labels disappeared. Add my labels back in here. Okay, so for the cost, we'll have direct materials, conversion, and then our total cost. And so the total cost for July, it gives us that right here. So 33,755. Our total direct material units that we need to allocate that to, we already calculated that here. So we just take our 33,755 divided by our 15,700. So we have a cost per equivalent unit for direct materials of $2.15. Now for conversion cost, so we have conversion of 4420 and of direct labor and 2708 of factory overhead. And we're going to take that cost and assign it over the 15,840 units. So we've got 45 cents per equivalent unit of conversion cost. For our costs assigned in production, so our beginning inventory cost is given to us right here at 2061, and then cost incurred during the month, we got our direct materials of 33 and our conversion cost of 71.28. And so the total cost to be accounted for during the month is 42,944. So these are the total costs we need to account for. Now we just have to divide those out to our partially completed units. So our inventory in process for the beginning, so we don't need to assign any cost to those partially completed units for direct materials because that cost was added in the prior month. So that's going to be a 0 for direct materials. And for our conversion cost, we had 880 units. I'm sorry. Whoops, we're doing beginning inventory. Beginning inventory, we had 360 equivalent units times our conversion cost of 45 cents. So we're going to have $162 to assign to beginning inventory. And so our cost to complete our beginning work in process. So our cost of completed beginning work in process. So that was going to be what was started and completed. So we had 14,600. Multiply that times our direct material cost per unit of 215. Oops, I think I'm on the wrong line here. I guess it goes down a line. There we go. So started and completed. 14,600 times our 215. And then for conversion cost, we also had 14,600 times our 45 cents. And then we have our inventory in process at the end. So for direct materials, we had 1,100 times our cost of 215. And for our conversion cost, we had our 880 times our 45 cents. Going to give us 396. So to add up the total cost, I think I have these on the wrong line too. So our beginning inventory cost was already given to us, so it's already added in. So that's the 2161. Oops, lost my formula here. So there we go. So at our cost that we had to add, so we had inventory already in process. This is what we added to that beginning inventory to finish it. So that's going to be a total of 2,223. And then for what was started and completed, so if we have our beginning plus what was started and completed, that means we transferred out 40,183 in costs, but we still have some costs or some inventory that's in process, which we have to assign cost to as well. And so that's going to be our ending work in process, which was 4/5 complete. And so costs related to that are going to be 2,761. So we take what was finished and transfer from our beginning, what it took to finish our beginning, plus what was started and completed, plus what was in ending work in process, add that all up, and so we have total assigned costs of 42,944. That matches what we figured out up here, so everything has been accounted for. Alright, so that is part one, and so then part two wants us to journalize the entries for transferring from the milling to the shifting, and then from the sifting to the packaging departments. So what went in to the sifting department, that's going to be our 33,755. And so into the sifting from the milling department. And then from the packaging department, so transfer to packing departments, that goes into packing, and it came out of the sifting department. So now we have our work in process transfers, journal entries. And so number 3 says determine the increase or decrease in the cost per equivalent unit from June to July. So here we already have our numbers. So we got July for direct materials is 215. And the beginning was actually given to us up here at $2.05. So cost went up by 10 cents per unit during July for direct materials. And for direct labor, so we had 45 cents. and we actually, the prior month had 40 cents. Oops, separately. So our conversion costs also went up by 5 cents a piece. So number 4 says, so discuss the uses of the production report and the results of part 3. And so for an analysis perspective, what we're going to get out of this is not only from an accounting perspective, we're going to know how to allocate cost, but from a kind of a review control perspective, this can tell us something that can be going wrong or not as we planned. And so anytime we have changes in cost month to month, we want to understand why those costs change. And it might be something really simple like, hey, our direct material costs that we purchased, hey, that went up. But it could be a sign of efficiency issues. Cost went up. Maybe we're not being quite as efficient in our process. Maybe there was something that went wrong. Maybe we had equipment breakdown. Maybe we're spilling stuff. Maybe stuff is going bad. So there can be a lot of different things that can cause our costs to go up. The important thing is we understand why they go up, not just that they did. So it can be an indication to to management to look into it further to figure out why it is, and hey, is this something that we can control, that we can go back and reduce, fix it to reduce our cost, or is it something that's out of our control? But the key is to understand why things go up or down.